I'm obsessed with food. I love food. Every bite of it sends dopamine to my brain and love it to my heart. I definitely have a weird, complex relationship with our life source. It consumes me just as much as I consume it. I have a habit of getting over-fixated on one food. If I find a new meal or dish that tickles my brain in a certain way, I will eat it constantly for months, sometimes years. My first memory of this hyperfixation was when I was 4 years old. That food of choice was goldfish crackers. My mom would buy a barrel-sized container from Costco and leave it in an accessible place in the kitchen. On the daily, I would stick my tiny hands in this container, grab as many of these cheesy, crunchy, yet soft crackers, and fit as many of those things in my mouth as I could. Jumped to being 16 and I was obsessed with macaroni salad for some reason. Eating it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, packing it in like I thought there was going to be some sort of shortage for some reason. Another example, from the ages of 19 to 22, I literally ate pizza every single day. Every single day, except for some days where I would treat myself to chicken pot pie. For some reason, my brain thought that chicken pot pie was a delicacy, so I would only eat it on special occasions, aka the days where I would get my paycheck from my minimum wage job at Blockbuster Video. The pizza wasn't good pizza at all, wasn't delivery. It was frozen pizza, cheap frozen pizza that I could eat in large quantities without noticing my bank account cry. As you can see, I'm a full savory bitch. Fuck those sugary sweets. I want all the salt, and preferably I want it fried. I've had food obsessions that look like tacos, French fries, potato chips, A&W Beyond Meat burgers, all of it. My most recent obsession was with pad thai and sushi. My taste got really expensive as I got older. This particular obsession was different though, because it involved actually interacting with a human being to get it. My life of buying large quantities at the grocery store at the self-checkout line was no more. This exchange involved calling the same person and seeing the same delivery man every single time. It was my biggest disappointment that this place wasn't on Uber Eats. They started recognizing my number, and the delivery guy knew my name. I was delighted and horrified at the same time. There were days where I would lie to my friendly restaurant friends, utensils for 3, please, and leave the TV on when the delivery guy would show up just to give the illusion that someone else was there. Welcome to House of Stone, the podcast where everyone has a story and we get into the nitty-gritty of it all. Yeah. Today, I have Mike Meo.
Hi, how are you?
The Mike Meo.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of an introduction for you. I'm going to read.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Mike Meo is a stand-up comedian and many other things here in Montreal. He's been on Off JFL and was named Comedy Nest Top Gun of is Top Guns of Comedy, like
Young Guns
of Comedy. Oh my God, Young Guns of Comedy. He was named twice, which is the only comedian who's ever been named twice.
True, I'm the only one who holds that title.
Yes. His style of comedy is original, yet has influences of some of the greats. I would say you have influences of Norm Macdonald and Bill Hicks, if I had to name a few.
Yeah, remember we watched the documentary on Bill Hicks this week?
Yeah,
That was great.
It was great.
Yeah, really
I do remember it happened this week.
Sure.
I usually ask the guests to promote themselves in some way at this point, like their social media handles. But I know you don't engage in social media that much.
I'm silly like that. I should get more involved.
Oh no,
I don't
you
really
don't.
care.
You don't really.
I just don't care. That's the thing. I should. People are like, "What's your Instagram?" I'm like, "What?" I don't have
well,
that.
the Instagram, yeah, you're like that.
You should have it because you were asking like you should get an Instagram. I'm like, yeah, but that requires work.
You don't have to
I
work
have to
at
take
it.
photos.
You
and
don't.
do
You can
things.
just have the account exist.
And then have nothing uploaded.
Yes, I can post photos for you. It'll be like a series of photos of Mike Mayo, like I don't know,
Sleeping. Coming back from work, like,
Drinking smoothies.
I made one. It's in my bag. I'm gonna drink it later.
Yeah, it was okay.
You can pull it out for a conversation piece if you want.
It will. It's not the most interesting conversation.
No, not really.
it's a mason jar.
It's a jar.
It's a mason jar that's green, basically, because it's
green.
But
with kale from my grandmother's garden.
It is. It does. We saw your okay. I was gonna wait till the end of the episode, trying to like make it a secret. I was trying to make it a secret that this is my boyfriend. But yeah, Mike Meo is my boyfriend.
Yeah, and you're my girlfriend. I hear.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
From what you understand, I'm your girlfriend.
That's cool. Great. Awesome.
We did it. Yes.
I'm on your podcast now.
I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm
so excited. I'm so scared. Remember Jesse Spano and
no, that
Saved by the Bell.
Oh, right.
Jeez, what am I, the only old person here? That wasn't that a meme? It was like, I'm so scared.
That was a very specific.
In Zach Morris's arms.
Very specific episode.
Yeah. She was taking speed.
Hundreds of episodes of Saved by the Bell.
It was like a very special episode of Saved by the Bell. Don't do drugs.
Oh my God. She got addicted to caffeine pills.
No,
it was caffeine pills.
Oh, what a dork.
It was literally look this up. I may be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong.
Like methamphetamine.
No. It was caffeine pills.
Well, that's stupid. That shows. Sucks.
I mean, you can get addicted to anything, but of all the things to write in the show, caffeine pills is not.
I like how you started your show. I also am addicted to potato chips.
Yes. That's why you think I, plan this, produce this episode with you in mind.
No, I mean, as you know, we talked about that at the beginning and stuff. Yeah. Like I don't know about goldfish crackers.
Did you not like goldfish crackers as a kid?
No.
I mean, I don't eat them now, but
what's the old internet joke? It's like, do vegetarians eat animal crackers? Silly, stupid.
That is stupid.
I'm like fucking goldfish. Can we swear on this thing?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Fuck everyone. All right. Who's not listening?
Yeah, you're like, I had you on the food episode because I love talking about food. I love food. I have a problem with food, but it's fine.
Do you have a problem with my food? I thought we made some pretty good stuff.
We make good food, but I have a problem with eating too much food.
What did I get you for your birthday this year? Why don't we tell the listeners?
Tell the listeners what you got me for my birthday.
I thought you were gonna.
Well, you're asking me questions like you're.
I thought we were gonna bounce the tennis ball back and forth.
We are.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's start off.
Okay.
I had you on the food episode because out of everyone I know, you're the most obsessed with food ever. You love talking about food.
I love good food.
You love talking about food, especially vegetarian food or vegan food, because we both are vegetarian or vegan.
Yeah.
And
there's so much good stuff now.
Yeah. I remember the first time that we actually engaged and had a conversation.
And your roommate laughed at me.
We
were at the bar, and they were like,
you were talking. You were talking about queso dip.
I was like, you gotta get a Vitamix, and you gotta get a bunch of cashews and almonds. You can make. So they were like, what the hell is he? He was so. I was so excited. I was like, I love making the queso dip. Is great though.
No, but like this is actually before this. It was the week before at Andrew's memorial. We were outside and I was complaining that I was hungry and you're like, do you want me to buy you French fries? You had just met me.
Where was I going to go to get you those?
It was because we were at Hurley's. I
was going to buy you fries from Hurley's?
Yeah.
Are they really good?
I've never had them. Because I remember, they're like, there's French fries inside. I remember for some reason you already knew.
No, because I felt bad because I was bumming all your cigarettes. I was like, I swap you some cigarettes for fries.
Yeah.
Because I'm not always the healthiest fella.
Okay, no. Anyways, so one of the first exchanges was about food. Mm-hmm. And now a lot of our life is about food. I mean, everyone's life is about food.
The best thing, the air fryer.
Yes.
We didn't mention the air fryer.
Yeah. I was getting there.
Well,
Let me host this podcast.
The air fryer, and then you get a tofu press.
Yeah.
And we make really good air fried tofu, which to most normal people sounds horrid and
but it's not. You
guys are making tofu wrong.
Yeah. So Mike got me an air fryer for my birthday. birthday. And when he got it for me, super excited, really wanted one. And I don't know what we talked about for the next 3 months after that,
like a little baby.
Besides the air fryer. It's our air fryer that we take care of.
The Vitamix that we set up.
Yes.
And we also got the Omega juicer, but we're not using that enough. We got to balance it out with the healthy stuff.
I mean, we're not dead yet. We'll use it.
Well, my doctor told me my triglycerides levels are high because it was.
Imagine if this was like on the episode you told me you were dying like for the first time.
God. Oh my God! It was all those. It was all those plant-based chicken sandwiches from pizza that were. Oh my God! Those are tasty.
Those are for the. I hope we didn't alienate some of the listeners, but we do like. I
alienate a lot of my friends by telling them I get food from them.
Yeah,
it's open late and you can get plant-based and vegan food, and it's not the best.
Yeah.
But it's there.
We've talked about this several times, like even on the car ride here. Yeah. Pizza, every time.
Yeah.
My roommate Fernando, who's here, Mike Meo, my boyfriend, they get pizza every second week from there. Every single time. They hate it. They hate it. I mean,
they don't know how to follow instructions.
Pizza, I guess you're trying. They don't
know how to follow instructions. I get a thin crust and it's a loaf of bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's so doughy.
And you do this every single. Do you think there would be another restaurant you could try?
One time,
and maybe potentially not be be
They nailed the crust and they put like barely any toppings on it.
They just.
I was like, what? And then I complained. And then they called me like.
It was like a non-bread.
Yeah, it was weird. Like they got it at an Indian restaurant across the street, and then they actually. Because they always send you an email because I order online, and they're like, "Were you satisfied?" I was like, No, not at all. I was not satisfied. And then somebody called me from Pizza, and I complained to them, and then they gave me the credit for the pizza, which of course they fucked that up as well. But that one I didn't pay for, so I was in like it wasn't too bad.
Wait, didn't complain again to just like continue?
What, to complain about a free pizza?
They don't know that.
What if I'll eat for years? I'll eat like just free
I mean, they
food
probably
on
have your note on file. You probably can't.
And I don't understand how they haven't gotten it right. I want a thin crust.
You hear that, pizza, Mike Meo? I want to be able to
slide it under a door.
Yeah. Why thin crust, Mike?
Thin crust, crispier. It's like, it's
okay.
Good. I like the undercarriage, David Portnoy. One bite, everybody knows the rules.
Mike, really quickly, can you just like stop fidgeting with the sides of the microphone? No, because you touch like the little knob.
You keep sometimes. Like adjusting
and you can hear it. Yeah.
Are we gonna edit that part out?
No.
All the.
We don't have to edit. No, we don't have to edit any of this out. It's fine.
It's my first time on your podcast. I'm nervous. I want it to go well.
It's okay. Just it is going well.
That's good. He just got yelled at.
Yeah. Just don't fiddle with this. That's all.
No one threw a ball of yarn up on this thing.
Mike is you are a fidgety person.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I'm happy I didn't get into the fidget spinners craze.
Yeah, did you ever like pick one up and?
Yeah, but I didn't see the point.
Yeah, yeah.
It's stupid.
I mean, it's not. It's like I see the appeal in it for sure.
Do you remember yo-yo balls from the 90s? They had.
You mean yo-yos?
Then they had a yo-yo ball because the whole gimmick of the yo-yo ball was it always came back to you, so there was no skill. It was just like for stupid kids.
I didn't know that. It was like a rigged yo-yo. Like it just did the work for you.
Sure, yeah.
That's stupid. When you teach people how to yo-yo.
Remember devil sticks and pogs?
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yes, I remember pogs. I don't remember why they existed besides collecting them. I think people oh, there you go. Yo-yo balls.
Yo-yo ma.
Oh my God. That that's
the
like tickling my nostalgic brain.
Because wherever you go, it comes back to
the packaging for children's toys are impeccable, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Like the graphic designer that has to go through all of that.
Look at that. That's fun.
There's a very specific type of graphic designer that has to do the. I know that, but like, could you imagine? Like, a graphic designer has love graphic design to do.
What were your favorite toys to play with as a kid?
I really liked. Oh my god, I loved Barbies. As you know, cliche as that was. So Fernando liked Barbies too.
Who wanna touch my tom-tom?
That's a very inside.
That is an inside joke. Should we talk about it on the show, or we don't have enough time?
You have enough. Actually, we don't.
No, I don't want to talk
I feel
about
like.
that. Hey, Marco Braccio with the big head. All right, sorry.
Can you imagine if Marco Braccio is?
He's
a
not
fan?
listening. I think his head is so
He
big. I
doesn't-
think he had a brain aneurysm or something.
So he's dead. Marco.
No, he probably. 'Cause
R.I.P.
I don't understand the guy. He was riding a motorcycle. How does he get a helmet to fit on?
They, you can get a specialized.
His head
size.
was huge. I think he had gigantism or whatever.
Okay, maybe. Well, maybe he grew into it. He was a child, right?
Who wanna touch him?
Okay. Okay. No.
He loved Barbies too.
I loved playing with Barbies. My sister and I had really liked, like, we had a big imaginations. We'd like to play like Barbies, and we liked to play house. So
Yeah.
like I remember buying
Elvis,
Silly
let's play
Putty a
house.
lot. I don't know. That's a toy, right? Like
Silly Putty was that was
Silly
it. Wasn't
Putty?
it wasn't it like a plastic peanut?
Yes. Yes.
I remember that.
Silly Putty. For some reason,
Yeah.
I like Silly Putty a lot, and Play-Doh because you can
Yeah.
like make little things.
You remember the Play-Doh Fuzzy Pumper Barbershop?
Yes.
And then the guy, you
I-
could push the
yes.
guy on the chair, and he would grow out like these big green
Yeah.
radioactive looking
Yeah.
dreads, like a Rasta from Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that called again?
The Play-Doh Fuzzy Pumper Barbershop.
Mike
one.
has a way of remembering the names of things like
yeah.
no one else. It's incredible.
I think I think I remembered your name after like maybe a month of
Yeah, I
knowing
think
you.
so. Yeah. Is it-
Is this it? Is this it?
That's the newer one.
They have. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, last Christmas we were buying gifts for your nieces, and we
That's
went to
right.
Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And the Play-Doh section of Toys R Us is.
It's pretty big.
It's an like
a lot
any
of
type,
Play-Doh
anything you can imagine they have a Play-Doh set for. So like pizza, like anything. Like if you, I can't think of anything else now.
I want to mention this as well because this is also something I talk about on stage. But the dollar store toys.
Yes.
Let's talk about those
They're-
for a second.
Okay.
'Cause
Well,
the dollar store. When I went to the dollar store to buy my niece a gift,
Yes.
and all of the toys at the dollar store are weapons.
yeah, that's one of your bits, and it's
Yeah,
true.
it's
It's
true,
true. When
because
we
we
went
saw
there
it. They're all weapons.
last
Yeah.
week, and there was like literal like army like armor. Set.
Yeah,
like
there's
so there
armor.
was like the helmet. And
That's
like,
right. They had
yeah, there was the helmet
Yeah.
and like I don't know what else, and it was all
And I
like
say,
camouflage.
I'm gonna buy my 6-year-old niece a battle axe.
Yeah.
They have a bow and arrow set and a cap gun and all these weapons. I was like, why are all the dollar
Yeah.
store
Are you gonna say your
toys
whole bit on-
weapons? Yeah, because and then I realized it's because when they have a war, they send poor people's kids.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why you go to Westmount and you go to their toy stores. They're all educated. Oh, look, it's a microscope and a stethoscope. Become a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, a book on law for a 6-year-old.
You know what's crazy? There is like a bougie kid store near my place.
Yes,
Yeah.
on Monkland. On
Yeah.
Monkland, and
They're all educational.
It's like all these cool little like like educational type toys or
Yeah.
like these cool little like play sets and shit or like a bunch of books.
Yeah.
But none of it is like I think I saw like one cop like costume for like
Oh,
a
yeah.
toddler.
Yeah.
But the rest were all just like in like fidget toys or like some kind of puzzle or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It is really.
I don't want children to get bullied, but I feel like that child should get reprimanded if he wants to be a police officer. I feel like they should try to be like, no, that's not right. You should.
I mean, we.
but then if
okay.
he actually does become a cop, he's going to be like the crooked one who's going to be.
He
give
may
people
not
tickets.
be. He
Well,
may not be.
Most
we don't
cops-
know about this hypothetical
most people
child
who wanted to be
who
cops
doesn't exist.
have been bullied. That's what it is. That's why they
mean,
give you
some of
tickets
them.
for
Some of
riding the wrong way on a sidewalk or something, and when you're drunk.
Right. Right.
In the middle of the summer, listening to your headphones.
Will they give you a ticket for riding
Oh
on
God,
the?
I'll tell you all about it.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's skip stories.
Another time.
Fuck you,
another
Officer
your
LeDuc. What?
your shirt does unbutton.
Oh jeez. Can we edit this?
No, we're not editing this.
I have a nice stomach.
Yeah, you do. You're a very hot human being. I was
You too.
I was prepping for this podcast and listening to podcasts with you with Pantelis.
Yeah.
By the way, this is already a better podcast than any of the episodes you've been
Oh,
with
wow.
Pantelis. Suck it, No, I'm go
We
listen to
talked about
Pantelis.
Degrassi High a lot. On that.
Degrassi.
At the end of
you did?
at the end of the episode with Pantelis.
Which one?
We talked about how I don't know. It was one of the later ones.
Okay.
How many did I do? Like 2 or 3 or something.
You did 3.
There was one that I did with Mike Ward and Pantelis as well, and I had a whole 10-minute story about how I shit my pants on a trip with my parents, and like I destroyed a pair of Super Mario joggers. Mm-hmm. But
That's a good story.
That
Go listen to Pantelis' podcast.
No,
I'm
but
sure.
that had a paywall, thankfully, because there's not enough people. Like apparently, that podcast plays across the tri-state area in New York.
Really?
Yeah, so they all know me as the guy who shat in my Super Mario.
So
Brothers
they know
jogging
Mike
pants.
Meo?
Well, some guy wrote like, I don't. Some guy named Baby Fucker 271
Is a big fan of
Yeah,
you?
no, he wrote. I don't know whoever this Mike Meo character is, but let's hope he never does comedy again.
Oh, wow.
And I was like-
okay, so not a fan.
No, he didn't like my story. I was like,
Maybe
but it was impromptu. I didn't prepare
Yeah,
anything. I don't even know how I went off. Into it.
Maybe he'll become a fan after this.
You know what
podcast.
happened? I was
Yeah.
in the woods and I was crapping and I was with my sister and she told me, "Hey, somebody's coming." And mid shit, like I stood up and the shit broke off in my ass and then it went into the pants.
That's cool.
And then I sat on it. It was like a pancake of poo. And we were driving.
How
home.
old were you?
Old enough to know better. I was like 6 or 7 or something.
Oh,
And
no, you're not-
but
okay.
Super Mario it was whatever. It was
Yeah.
Super Mario was desecrated. And we were driving home through the
Stop
country.
fiddling.
Are my parents gonna see this?
Absolutely not.
She hosed me off when we got back to Montreal. She hosed me off like I was a prisoner arriving at Rikers Island.
She waited till you got back to Montreal.
Well,
to
because I didn't
clean
want to
you
tell
off?
them that I shit. I was like, she's like, it smells like crap in here. And I was like, it must be the cows.
I wouldn't.
And they're like, I think we're taking the smell with us. And then I started crying. I was like, Because I pancaked it.
That's so gross.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
I'm so sorry you're dating me and I'm telling a story on your show.
That's nothing I haven't heard before.
I know. Ooh, wanna touch on my tongue.
All right. Speaking about shit,
Did you think it was gonna go this well?
and I don't know this
You
is
think
not what
our-
I was
you thought our
expecting at
podcast
all.
was gonna
I don't know
you thought
what
it-
I was expecting.
What?
I don't know what I was
Let's talk
expecting,
about
but
our
not
favorite
this.
restaurants.
Yeah, after we talked about shit for the last. Speaking about poo,
Well, when we go
what about
fancy place, we make
before
poo together.
the poo
and
happens?
That's
for making poo.
this romantic. We're like, let's go make poo together.
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, it starts in the kitchen. Well, it technically starts from the ground, and then somehow it
Yes.
ends up
Yes.
in the water.
Yes.
Uh,
That's how food.
it goes
That's
over.
how food is made.
Sure, yeah, it goes
the
over.
ground
No,
and
it
water.
It grows.
then on our
and
plate.
then it goes back. This cycle of life.
Yes.
Is that what life is all about, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So what is your okay? So
Can we, like,
let's
start
reel it
over?
in. No, we're not starting.
Oh,
over.
Jesus. All right.
You know, people are actually going to listen to this episode because they know
It's a
that
good
you're my
thing.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
And they're gonna
know.
want to know the dynamic. This
And they're
is
gonna
it,
feel
guys.
bad for you.
This is
because
it.
you
I was
made
gonna
a
keep it
bad
professional.
decision.
I was gonna keep it.
It's not fun though. You gotta have
I mean,
a good time.
I kind of wanted some sort of control over this. Stop fiddling with
Oh
that.
God! Do you have like my watch? It's a Swatch. And when my mom
Oh
does
my
my
God,
clothes
oh
to
my
get them
God.
clean, she uses Swatch.
Okay, let's reel it in. Let's reel it in.
How much time do we have left?
I don't know. I don't know.
35 minutes.
Oh, boy.
Oh my God.
That's
Okay.
35. I'm gonna,
All right.
Okay.
So food.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're.
We're gonna go eat later.
Yes. Yes.
Emma's. Emma's.
We're gonna go Emma.
Can we
Shout
tell
out
the-
to Emma's.
You,
Yes.
you tell the
Okay, so-
listeners.
Mike and
about
I
Emma's.
are vegans for the most part.
yeah.
For the most part, I'm flexible with it, definitely. But I definitely don't eat meat. And him and I mean, I definitely have a passion for vegan food and vegan restaurants and cooking. So yeah, like, I mean, he mentioned Emma's. Emma's is a restaurant that has vegan options in the West Island.
Very good ones too.
Yeah, really good one. Lots of options. Lots of options. I like that. And you see that more recently.
Yes.
With a lot of different restaurants having plant-based options. But you started being a vegan before all of that was cool.
Yeah, I'm a big hipster.
Or is it cool? I don't know if it's
I
cool.
think it's pretty cool. In 2004, I think it was 2003.
2004, that's
2000. No, it might have been a little earlier than that. I was 18, so it's like over 20 years.
Okay. I definitely probably didn't know that vegan was a thing in 2004.
Well, I stopped eating meat when I was 18, and then I think a year later I decided to like cut out animal products and eggs and dairy and stuff.
Okay. What made you do that?
It was for animals, and I don't know why that's funny.
Just animals.
No, because for the animals, I grew up with animals. I had a dog and a cat and a big hairy Italian father, and like I didn't want. I didn't want to like engage in the suffering of them, animals and stuff. So,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Also, when I was a kid, I went to my father's friend at a farm, and I saw them slaughter a pig.
You saw them slaughter a pig?
And they scream like children. They scream like kids. Well, I mean, I don't know what kids sound like. Maybe I assume they sound like that. Like they go, it's crazy. And then also remember watching like footage of them clubbing a baby seal.
Don't
on the CBC.
Google slaughtering a pig, please. Do not do that. Do not.
PETA put out a whole bunch of those videos. I was a child, and I remember watching. It's gonna make me sound like a big, like a big wuss.
No, go for it.
I saw when I was a kid, like there was like a thing on CBC, and they clubbed a baby seal, and then I started crying, and then my parents were like, "Yeah, this guy's gonna get bullied as a whatever when he goes to school," because like I was too sensitive, I was always saying like I love animals, I don't want to hurt anything, I don't want to hurt animals and stuff.
Yeah.
Animals are innocent, they're like babies, they're like children. You want to protect them.
Yeah.
So,
I never saw a pig get slaughtered, but my father does slaughter his own animals because I grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
I did see chickens being.
I heard about that. And they run a little bit.
God,
there's like a reflex that you cut off their heads and then they run.
That's like that's like no, like a chicken, like you whatever with it, like a chicken with his head cut off. You like. There's an expression,
running
right?
around like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah. Like that actually happens. Like they move around, but that's just
horrific.
Like
that's like out of a horror
it's like
film.
nerves firing after.
Yeah.
It's really gross.
I wonder if that happened in France with the guillotine. When they cut off people's heads, and they run into the crowd.
Oh my god!
And stuff.
Okay, let's switch the subject. I can't even. So that's like when being exposed to it as like.
I would laugh if I saw it.
No, you wouldn't.
No,
you'd be traumatized.
Yeah, but it's insane. Oh boy! All right.
Let's go back to it.
Sure.
Well, that's really why I became a vegetarian initially, because I was just exposed to. Like I grew up around animals too. I grew up on a farm, and I just couldn't like disconnect from like seeing it alive and then eating it. I just couldn't do that. Which like, I mean, I know a lot of people can. I don't want to like you guys make your own choices. I
don't judge people.
I don't judge people either, for sure. I know it's definitely harder to be.
It does take some cognitive dissonance for people to eat meat after they kind of see what's going on. But I also want to say this on the record. A lot of people who are vegans, like especially like the radical animal rights activists, I know their heart's in the right place, but some of them are fucking losers. Like I used to go online and get in arguments with on social with people who were like radical animal rights activists, and they would shame people. Like there was this girl eating, she was part of Greenpeace, and she claimed to be a vegan, but she was eating oysters.
Okay.
And then some guy wrote, he shared it. Some guy that I was following on Facebook, and he was, and he had been vegan for like 6 months or something stupid. And it's like a recent convert. He was like all overzealous, new religious whatever. And then he posted, I didn't know vegans ate oysters. What a dumb bitch. And then some people in the comment thread, I was reading it. I was like, what's wrong with these people? It was like, I hope that bitch cuts her hand open. And it was all this hateful shit. And they were like, that's why I don't like to identify or call myself a vegan, because I don't want to be associated with you people. You're a bunch of like radical nut jobs. You're like, it's like a religion to them. And then I started saying, it was like, well, first of all, oysters are mollusks. And they don't even have a central nervous system. So, and then I tried to make a valid point, and I'm like, secondly, you're shaming this person, doesn't help anything. And then they're all calling me out. They're like, and they're all really dumb because they don't. They're just like, they're just really dumb. So somebody wrote, Mike Meo, you very stupid. As a rebuttal. I'm like, I'm not gonna associate with these people.
The stereotypical vegan are intense. Like, they're definitely intense. These are the examples of that. But then there's like there's lots of different versions, like what we are. And like, I literally don't care what you eat. Like, I don't this is what I eat, and I don't. We make really good food though.
We
do make very good food.
When we go to good restaurants, we find good stuff. I just want to mention as well, because when I got started and involved in it and stuff, it was like through music, because like a lot of bands that I used to like were vegetarian and vegan, and we're talking about that. And then I read a lot of books.
What genre of music?
It was like mostly like punk, hardcore and stuff.
Okay.
But interesting enough, after I started doing stand up, people were like, "Oh, this guy's like a vegan comic. Let's book him on shows." I got booked to do an animal rights rally.
Yeah.
Which is like, you think, people with a good sense of humor, that's where the best comedy happens. Places where people hold signs saying meat is murder and
well, tell us the details of that. I've heard the story before, and it's kind of hilarious in a way. So they book you, you show up.
I don't know why they booked me to do the show.
So how did they find your name? Like, vegan, like when would people Google Mike Meo to say vegan comedian? I don't think so.
No, I think it's because I had jokes about it at some point, and somebody saw me on a show. They're like, hey, I had a joke, this whole thing at the time about being vegetarian but also Italian, which means my dad thinks I'm gay, and blah blah blah. Like, it was this really stupid thing. And then I talked about it a bit, and I used to have some jokes about it. And then somebody saw me on the show. They're like, hey, there's like an animal rights rally. I don't know if you want to do some comedy there. I'm like, does it pay? And I think they paid me.
Okay.
I think I got like a veggie burger or two or something. something. And I went and I was like, oh, that would be interesting, because I never did that. It would be exciting. It would be a cool experience. Yeah. I didn't know that I'd walk away with, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was insane.
So you show up at this place. They hire you. You show up. What happened? How many people are there? Where is it?
There was maybe like 100+ people, or more. I think there was like maybe close to 200 people.
Did they hire any other comedian?
No.
It was just you.
It was just me.
For how many minutes?
They told me I did 2 sets of 20 minutes each.
Okay. The same set or two?
No, different jokes.
Okay. That's ambitious.
And, oh God, it was insane. So there was a woman standing on a stage that was made out of like almond milk crates or something. I don't know.
For real?
No, I'm just joking. It was made out of sustainable free range plywood or something. And then,
free range plywood.
And then the side of the stage, on each side, there was a big screen TVs.
Yeah.
And on one TV, they were showing animal slaughter footage. And on the other one, they were showing like animal testing, vivisection footage, where they're like putting a blowtorch on a bunny's eyeball or something.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, it was really graphic. And the woman is talking on stage like, everybody should go vegan. We need to end this injustice and suffering. She's almost in tears. Everybody's gasping. Oh, they're all into it. They're holding a vigil for like a puppy that died because he put lipstick on his face and it was toxic. Something that happened. Whatever. Everyone's like really, really into it. And then she was like, anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys are ready to laugh. We got comedians coming up to do, and I had written jokes for about veganism and animal rights, and I'm like, it's going. And I didn't even mention it. I was like, at one point, I think I kind of like, I didn't know what was going. I was like, you guys mind turning this televisions off? I think this is like
they were still playing.
They were still playing while it was on TV. I was like,
oh my God.
They don't know, like, comedy doesn't really work.
Yes.
When innocent beings are being tortured on each side of the stage.
No. I feel like people should know. Imagine going to the Comedy Nest.
Yeah.
And it projected these like horrid images just
Imagine
like while you're performing.
On one side of the stage, they're kicking a puppy and
Yeah.
and then the other one, they're dropping a cat in a pool.
Oh God.
Or something bad.
That's
So like, don't you guys like to laugh and comment? It was like, these people don't know anything. They don't know what's going on.
Were people laughing?
No. Well, they started laughing a bit when I started acknowledging how insane it was.
Yeah.
And then after I had like a squeegee punk started yelling at me because I was speaking English. And he was like, en français. And I was like, what? And I was like, en français. So then I did my material about Quebecers and the French language. And then all of a sudden, I had half of them really laughing, and then half of them hated me. And I got off stage, and people were like, hey, what the fuck is that? I was like, hey, come on, man. I'm trying to work with what I got.
Yeah.
So I went on a thread, the comment thread on Facebook later that evening or the next day or two. And it was all like, they didn't know my name. They just knew that they didn't like me. They were like, yeah, c'est qui ça, c'est humoriste, fuck off. And I was like, okay. At least if my name was there.
Yeah.
They didn't even know. I was like, thank God in a way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was really bad. Vegans have no sense of humor. They don't know.
That's such a blanket statement.
No.
We're vegan. We have a sense of humor.
Yeah, I wanted to do a show. I was gonna call it "Hold the Mayo."
Yeah, you're still gonna do it one day.
Yeah, one day I was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should do cooking.
That sounded condescending when you're still gonna do it one day.
One day, little.
You do one day.
I hope so.
No, I think it's a good idea. It's I mean, Mike
heard about it here.
His favorite part of the week is going to the grocery store and so he wants to review vegan products.
What are the things that we make that are really good?
I mean,
make dragon bowls.
We do make dragon bowls, yeah.
Dragon
sauce. We use the air fryer a lot. I do like a good bowl. We do, I like a good bowl.
We make good.
So like burrito
cheeses.
Bowls, and then we make vegan cheeses as well.
Because we got the Vitamix.
You have the Vitamix, yeah, it's yours.
I feel like half of the audience tuned out right now.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some of our favorite restaurants that we like to go to?
I mean, I really like Hello 123 on Monkland.
Hello, it's pretty good.
Hello, it's 123. I don't know. I do like Au Vive a lot. That's another.
Used to be way better back in the day. I know.
You used to work there.
I didn't work at OV. I worked at Burritoville.
I thought you said you worked at OV.
I worked at OV for one day.
Well, when I said you used to work there, one day counts.
But I didn't know because I worked there one day, and that was when they swapped from being like super awesome, like a hippie commune, and then they were like a corporate restaurant all about making money. All the quality of their products went down. OV, if you're listening, you're not half the place you used to be. You shitty bread.
Oh my God, they're still delicious.
But it's not as good. No, because the chapati bread is good. If you're buying products at the store, listen up, people. Listen, don't buy the ready-to-eat products at the store. They use crappy pitas that are full of preservatives that you could buy for like 99 cents. They're not anywhere near as good as they were. They're using canola oil in their sauces now. They're not using the extra virgin organic olive oil that they used to have.
Are you done?
No. It's shit.
Please sponsor us.
Because it was a
sponsor us.
It was a mutual thing. I was like, I worked there a day. I was like, your products are your ingredients are shit. And then the guy got mad at me because I was wrapping sandwiches slowly. He was like, you're going too slow. I was like, fuck, what is this assembly line China sweatshop thing? Like, fuck this. And then I was just like, I didn't want to work. So anyways, OV used to be better.
It used to, but it's still good. I ordered it the other day and it was still good.
I gotta say though, and don't call me out for this because this is something I used to say a lot, but it used to be owned and run by hippies, and that was when it was the best. I don't know why you're looking at me like
because you're like, don't call me out.
Don't call me on this because I've told you this before.
Oh, okay.
It was run by OVive. I started doing the
define
vegan thing.
hippies though. What is that?
Well, they're like people who don't bathe and stuff.
Oh my God.
And, they think that deodorant is a form of government mind control. I was working there, and then there was. I thought it was awesome. The food was great. It was like 95% local organic food.
Yeah,
and
I do
really,
agree
really
with
good.
like it should.
Cheaper.
Like I love a place that is like has local products. I love that.
I thought it was great. I thought it was the only restaurant in Montreal where the women should have been required to wear hairnets under their arms because.
Oh
They
my
were
God,
those,
Mike
They were
Meo.
those kind of hippies. They had big
Yeah.
books. Of,
That's
it was
just
a lot. It was a
okay.
lot.
All right.
And they would
All
wear
right.
tank tops to your table because
That's
that's
fine.
how much they didn't care.
Okay, let's change this.
If you got a hair in your food, you don't even know where it's from.
Yes. Okay.
But that was part of the appeal. That the
That was
food
part
was
of the appeal.
amazing. I don't care. I'll deal with pubes in my fucking sandwich. It was like cheap. It was good. I'm not a finicky curmudgeon. You know.
I still love Oviv.
Yeah, they're a lot better now.
Yeah.
Well, in
I do
terms-
like
well,
a
searches.
place that like you like that has local products. I do so like I love health food stores and like that has like
Here's
local
let's,
stuff.
shout outs to health food stores.
Yeah.
Which health food stores would you like to shout out?
Branche Olivier is pretty
they're
good.
fun. They're
Yeah,
good.
that's the one near
What about the
me.
Health Tree in the West Island? They're big.
Yeah, that's pretty
Or
big.
Tao in the West Island. Remember we went
yeah.
there?
I mean, back in the day when you started doing like going
There was
vegan,
nothing.
there was nothing.
There was nothing.
Besides some health food stores, and
And
now
they were few and far between.
Yeah.
I used to go to Saint Denis because it was like a Tao health food store that was open since 1978. Mm-hmm. So I used to buy stuff there. And then you go to the local grocery store, all they had was like, you'd get like a carton of soy milk, Vita soy milk. That was the only soy milk they had. Mm-hmm. And it was like from the 80s or 90s or something. Mm-hmm. You get a carton of chocolate soy milk.
chocolate.
That's
Ooh,
the
fancy.
one I liked. Block of tofu.
Okay.
Get hummus and stuff. You could buy
Okay.
it, but they didn't have everything. Now everything you want, you could get vegan,
Oh, absolutely.
which doesn't necessarily make it.
It
the
doesn't make it
healthiest.
healthier. People
Yeah.
should know that like just because you're vegan doesn't mean you're this like health nut. Like there's so much vegan
Yeah. products
products that are so unhealthy for you.
Super processed, high in
It's
salt,
super,
and sodium.
super
You want to eat
processed.
like whole food, plant based beans and
Yeah.
whole grains and legumes.
I mean,
and
we definitely indulge in the
fruits and
unhealthy
vegetables.
stuff.
Sure.
Like the Beyond Meat products, like we love, but it's definitely not the most healthy. So I think there's like a misconception that like, oh, you're vegan, you're a health nut. Like, no,
Yeah.
like you can definitely be unhealthy
Yeah, for
as a
sure.
vegan
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I really like the President's Choice plant based line of products.
Oh yeah, they're good.
I make their pancakes.
Yeah.
The other day I had a awesome breakfast. It was a weekend. I work hard all week. I want to have my breakfast. I made pancakes with vegan butter, maple syrup.
No one was arguing with that. Like, oh,
No,
pancakes?
No, they were the
Mike?
best. I had Beyond Breakfast sausages.
yes.
And then we also
yes.
got the juicer. I made a green smoothie today full of
Yeah.
like good stuff.
Yeah.
Got to
yeah.
balance it out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
What about Indian restaurants? Can we talk about Tanjay too? Because they're
Tanjay's
not a
good.
fully vegan restaurant.
Yeah.
But
Tanjay was our first date.
that was our first date,
Yeah.
and I farted on your lap.
Yes. Backstory to that, context to that.
There's a lot of beans in it.
Mike Meo and I went on a first date to this
Yeah.
Indian restaurant.
Yeah.
And like the classy person that I am, I brought him home after.
Sure.
I don't even think we had sex yet. You fart. We were like laying down,
That's
and
more
he
intimate,
farted.
I think.
He. This is more intimate than
I think
sex.
that's way more. People have
yeah.
sex all the time. How
He
many people
first
fart on
date
one another?
farted on my leg, and that's when I knew I loved him.
Shout out to Tanjay.
Just
Van Horn.
past that.
Van Horn, I love it. They have because it's not a vegetarian restaurant, but half of the menu is vegan. You could get dosas, you could control the oil level in it and the spice. You get the spiciest stuff, and then you won't be able to be sweating, and it's so good. What did we have? It was great. What
I mean, I remember
mushroom
I had chana
Manchurian.
masala or whatever.
Mushroom Manchurian.
Yeah, yeah,
Very good.
yeah.
What's
You,
your
you had a
fa- yeah.
dosa.
Dosey do.
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of food, Abby?
Thanks for the question, Mike.
Not goldfish crackers. That's been
I
established.
love. I don't love goldfish crackers anymore, but I love Mexican food.
That's true.
You know that.
I knew that. I don't know, but
Yeah.
your viewers and listeners.
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
do. I love. Thank you, Zach. I do love Mexican food a lot. So I do like making burrito bowls a lot.
Your burrito bowls are delicious.
Yes.
They're
yeah.
very,
I
very
make a
good.
kill. So you just get a bowl, you get vegetables, you grill vegetables or air fry vegetables.
Ultrine XL.
Then you have some sort of
on
protein.
Amazon.
Some sort of protein.
Use
You have
air fried
salsa.
tofu and beans.
Yeah. You have salsa. You add guac.
Guacamole.
It's fucking delicious. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
It's good, but that's why we're gonna go to Emma's later.
Yes.
We'll give a shout out to Emma's as well.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before. Emma's is a place on Donegal in the West Island, and they got like tons of vegan food. We're gonna get vegan pizza.
Yeah.
They even got vegan poutine and burgers.
It's not. It's again not the healthiest.
No,
This
it's
is
not.
Emma's Montreal. This is not it. Definitely
No,
not
that's,
it.
I don't remember that fella.
It's Emma's West Island.
Emma's West Island.
I don't know.
Are they gonna show this? And
I doubt that there will be any images from it.
no,
No.
you got to go on Happy Cal. Can we
Oh,
mention?
there is that.
No, that's
No,
not
it's
Emma's
not.
At all.
No, it's
I
not.
want to mention that as well because as a comic, and we'll get. I guess we could talk about comedy stuff.
We are gonna get into
Yeah,
comedy
'cause, like,
now.
we should probably talk. Well,
Yeah.
So this is a bridge the thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're traveling as a comic, and if you are looking for vegetarian, vegan food, health food stores, you want to download an app, the Happy Cow app. And when I was a roadie for my friend's band, I was doing stand up. I was traveling to do shows in Ontario and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or in New York too.
So it helped you find.
Yeah, you
some
want to find something because back
awesome
then I don't even
spots.
think we didn't have smartphones. We had flip phones. 'Cause I'm an old man,
Yeah.
so I had to whenever I got internet access, I was like, oh look at that. And usually I would travel skateboarding through the city trying to find vegetarian restaurants.
That's so cool.
HappyCow.net.
Happy Cow.
You can
It's
find
good.
a search engine. It'll give you access to.
It's
all
an
the-
app now.
It's an app.
Yeah.
And
with
that's
the
how we
search-
found out about Emma's.
Yeah. Yeah.
buddy
that's
found
cool.
out about
Let's get
Emma's.
into comedy.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that. That's
When did
way
you
more
s-
interesting.
When did you start comedy?
First time I got on stage, I was 19.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's almost 20 years.
Sure, but I took a lot of time off because
Yeah.
of school and other stuff.
Yeah. What inspired you to get on stage?
I always wanted to do stand-up since I was a kid because I used to love watching stand-up on television, and I was a big fan of Seinfeld, the show. I loved the opening monologues,
Yeah.
and I remember my parents, my mom and my sister. My sister's not one of my parents, by the way. That would be weird. It was my mom and my sister. They were talking about, how interesting is they tell the jokes, but they don't laugh. That's part of what makes them so funny is that they have a serious face when they tell jokes. I didn't know until years later.
like Jerry wasn't laughing.
Jerry, because he was
Okay.
doing the monologue. They're like, yeah, they talk and they don't laugh. It's like, well, they're not going to laugh at their own jokes. It's only years later. I was like, because that guy heard the joke 100.
They said the
200
joke 1,000
They don't,
million
it's not,
times
whatever,
for
and
sure.
they're dead inside.
I mean,
and
I still
whatever.
laugh at some of the jokes that I say.
Yeah,
on
I know, but at a
stage.
certain point, I think you
Yeah.
become so jaded with, a lot of comics are depressed and they don't see they don't hear the laughter.
Where was your first open mic?
It was at the Comedy Works. That's now
Okay.
burned down on Bishop Street.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to go with my friends. I used to hang out and drink with these Irish guys from LaSalle. They're crazies. They're crazies.
LaSalle?
Yeah, LaSalle representing.
Gang, gang.
Well, you just did the loser
Yeah,
sign on your.
it was
Oh, LaSalle. L. I'm dumb. Okay.
Yeah, well, usually have to explain it. Anyways, so I went to we were going to Jimbo's because it was a bar. And I didn't know I didn't know anything. I didn't know the Comedy Works was there. And my friend's sister was working the bar at Jimbo's, and they had on I think Friday nights they were doing karaoke. So I would get drunk with my buddies, and then I would go do karaoke, and then I would tell jokes. I had a mic in front of my face, so I was like, I want to do stand up. I would write down stuff, and
Yeah.
I'd really want to do stand up, but I didn't know there was places to do comedy stuff.
Yeah.
So I would use that opportunity while they were cueing the next song. I would tell jokes that I wrote, and then people were getting mad. They're like, "What do you do?" Somebody came up to me and handed me a business card. Said, there's a comedy club upstairs. So
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you don't have to tell jokes to the tune of "Achy Breaky Heart." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So then after I signed up for the open mic, I did it a week or two later.
Do you know who you spoke to sign up for the open mic? Then?
Well, there was the guy running the stuff at the time, running
Okay.
the phones. I don't remember. I think he passed away since. I don't remember his name now. There was a guy I used to call.
Okay.
Actually, years later, after I graduated university, I got a job that summer working at the old Comedy Works for Jimbo.
Yeah.
So I was cleaning. I was on his radar. I was hosting almost every Monday. I was doing weekends. I got to talk to big name comics on the phone because I was answering the phones. I got to talk to Tom Rhodes on the phone.
Oh, cool.
And I got to meet with them, smoke cigarettes with them outside on the fire escape.
Okay.
It was so cool. It was such a great time.
That is cool.
Yeah.
What is your favorite set? Do you have a favorite set you've ever done?
favorite set I've ever done. I've done so many sets.
I don't know. Is there one that like stands out?
Last night was fun.
Last night was really fun.
That was fun. They were drunk and crazy.
Yeah. So Michelle and I, who was on the last podcast and the first podcast, we have a show called Lawn Laughs where we go to people's backyards, and Mike was on it, and the crowd was insane. It was really good.
Yeah,
they were really loving everyone. They were wild. They were so drunk. They were so drunk, but they were in the best way.
I'll tell you one of the best sets I think I ever had, and this is a really crazy story.
Okay.
It was my second year showcasing for JFL, and I was already all nervous, and then I got they were picking their lineup, and the Kelly McKeegan at the time, she was running JFL, you know, she was there in the back, and they drew my name first. I was like, oh fuck, like I'm Bullet, you know. And then on top of that, as soon as they drew my name first, I got a phone call from my sister telling me that my dad was in the hospital because he just had a heart attack.
This is your... Okay, go on.
This is my second year, 2009, showcasing for JFL. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, you know, like I'm at Just for Laughs showcase. They just drew my name first, and then I got the call. But it put everything into perspective. So I was suddenly not really nervous about the show because I was thinking about my dad, and I was happy he was okay. And I went up, and like, it just put everything into such great perspective. I went up and I destroyed. I got like 2 applause breaks. I was able to hold the joke. I remember at one point I had finished doing there was a joke that I used to do where I used to just stare at the audience, and I held it for like 30 seconds. And the more that I would stare at them without talking, they would just laugh.
That's
more and
amazing.
more. Yeah, because I didn't care. And then I got all this feedback. All the industry people was like, oh, hands down, he had the best set of night. But because I didn't care, because I wasn't nervous about the show anymore. I was like, oh man, my dad almost died. That was like one of the most memorable things.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. I love the idea of like that silence on stage. I always when I see people do that, like Nazir kind of plays with that in one of his jokes, one of our fellow comedians, where he just like is silent, and like I like that tension, and if you actually get people to laugh during it, that's amazing.
Yeah, I remember the joke. I haven't done it since. I don't know if I could ever bring it back. If you want, I could like give you the gist of it.
Okay.
But the joke was about how I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and there was a lot of commercials on television telling kids not to do drugs because they'll rot your brain and they'll make you stupid. And I was sitting there watching my TV set like, yeah.
That's so good.
And then I would just stare, and the longer I would stare at them, the more they would laugh.
That's a really good joke. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know.
It's a good, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
I thought, but I haven't done it in years.
That's so simple yet so it's so like, funny.
Don't do drugs; they'll rot your brain and make you dumb. I was like, oh. On TV. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh yeah, because you know people who watch Perfect Strangers eat Doritos watching like fucking TGIF or whatever. Yeah. Like, oh yeah. All right. This is making me smart. I could feel my brain growing watching this educational program. Oh, what kind of antics is Balky gonna get into today? This is definitely. I feel my IQ points going up.
That's so funny. Do you remember one of the worst sets you've ever had?
Oh God, yes.
What is the
several of them?
What is
I got booed off stage twice at Grumpy's.
Booed off stage.
I got booed off stage.
But it's Grumpy's.
No, but not.
No, but no one gets booed.
Nobody gets booed. I got booed twice.
Okay.
Once because there was this band. There was this musical act, this musical group, Ladies of the Canyon, and they just got signed to Sony Records. So they were celebrating at Grumpy's, and they were in the back of the room. And by the way, for the record, because you know you're telling me I was the only comic who ever got Young Guns twice. Yeah. I also performed at the very first Grumpy's Drop the Gloves open mic.
Whoa.
That's true.
That's cool.
I was there. Andrew Searles and I were the only 2 comics, and I got hit on by an old man and stuff. It was a whole thing.
That's fun.
Yeah,
that's fun. Nice.
So I was at both times that I got booed off stage. First time was like the Ladies of the Canyon were there and they were drinking and like probably doing blow and all this stuff. And I was like all nervous, and they're like they were just laughing. They started booing me because they were all crazy. And then another time I told the joke that they deemed offensive and they're like, let's boo and boo. And this time I was like, yeah, fuck you. And like, I had like turned on them, and then I had half the audience really on my side, really loving me, and the other side of the audience wanted me dead. So I caused a rift and a divide.
Yeah. How do you like physically get booed off stage? You just like, you can't continue?
They thought it was funny. I was like, and the second time I had that thick sound, I was like, fuck it. First time I like hid in the back of the bar and I didn't want to see anybody and I wanted to escape. I was all ashamed. And then after you don't care. And then the worst set I think I've ever had, one of the worst sets I ever had was on the Late Show at the Comedy Works on a Friday, and all the industry people were there. All the people from Just for Laughs were there, the owners of all the clubs, and I went on Bullet, and I was just like I wasn't feeling it. I was in a bad mood for whatever reason, and I went on, and nothing, packed house, no laughs, like nothing, absolute dead silence. Every time I tried to recover, I'm like acknowledging the jokes are going bad. They're not laughing at anything, anything. They gave me nothing, and then I got off stage, and I was like, yeah. Okay. And like I was like catatonic. And this girl that I knew from high school, I had a crush on her back in the day. She's like, hi. I was hanging outside of the club all disheveled. Like and she's like, oh, hey, how's it going? I had this crush on this girl in high school. Yeah. She's like, you want to hang out with my friends and like have a drink? I'm like, no, I'm good.
No, not the time.
No, and then I like drove my friend home and I was like, I didn't talk. I was like,
yeah.
The next day,
that's like traumatizing.
The next day, I remember waking up and it's like you think it was like a bad dream or something.
Yeah.
Like maybe it didn't happen. Maybe I thought it happened.
I know. I've had a couple sets like that for sure.
But they make you better though.
They do make you better. They for sure make you better. We do have to wrap up. We're really we're pushing the time. But I always end with 2 questions. One,
how do you make dragon sauce?
How do you make detail? How do you make dragon sauce? Every guest. Only me. And okay, not that. Okay. But what is one of the hardest things you've ever been through? You don't have to go into detail about it. I know
know it.
We talked about it a little bit. But you could just
the time that I found Santa Claus wasn't real.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
that's a tough one for everyone.
My uncle drunk in a suit or something. Okay. No, that's not true. I don't know what to say. The hardest thing. Oh, I was watching wrestling as a kid, and the Rockers, Shawn Michaels threw Marty Jannetty through Brutus the Barber Beefcake's mirror, and I cried for 2 days.
Oh.
No, these are all because it's a defense mechanism. I don't want to talk about the real stuff.
I know that. Okay, we don't have to. You don't have to answer it.
I'm not going to answer.
Okay, it's fine.
I'll just say it was the death of a loved one.
Yeah.
That's actually the truth.
There's been a lot of responses like that, like, oh, this person passing away was really hard.
The Rockers were breaking up.
Like that's a hard one. That's really hard.
They were supposed to go to WrestleMania that year and everything.
The last question. What is the thing in your life that you're most passionate about?
You.
Me?
Yeah. Barry, what's this fucking studio haunted? What am I passionate about? I like making people laugh fun, and I like making people happy. That's why I like making food. Mm-hmm. I like to cook. Remember we go to parties and bake like
you're like
stuff.
An Italian grandmother. You always bring.
Grandma makes good food.
She makes really good food. But you do act like an Italian grandmother sometimes. You just bring over food.
I like making people happy, and I like exploring ideas. I like innovation that's going to bring joy and happiness to people and make people feel good.
Yeah.
I like it when I'll tell you something. I did a show last Thursday. And I was closing the show, and it was like a lot of fun. I had a really good set, and I had these young guys come up to me after the show and solicit me. No, they might as well have. They were like these huge fans. Like, oh my god! And they were like, it was so endearing because they were all like shy, like nervous, talk to me like, you were so good, man. You were so funny, and like how long they were asking me all these questions about comedy, and it reminded me of when I was younger, seeing a really good comic, and I was like, I felt really. Flattered, you know.
Yeah.
And it's cool. And like last night also when we did the show and that guy was like opening up to us. So I was like, you guys don't know, man. You guys make people really happy.
Yeah.
And if we could do comedy, like make people forget about their problems and stuff, it makes us happy. Like they give us love and we give it back.
Yeah.
You know, it's like such a great thing. It's so positive.
That's an amazing answer, Mike Mayo.
Thank you, Abby Stonehouse.
Thank you so much for being on this podcast.
No problem.
It was amazing. I had a lot of fun.
I hope
You fidgeted the entire time. Probably made.
I did fidget a lot because
Zach want to have a hernia or want to have a stroke. Hernia. I want to have
nervous on your podcast.
You didn't. I'm not done yet. We're still filming.
I dragon sauce recipe. You start with nutritional yeast.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you to our funders, our sponsors, Pantelis Studio, Zach Kick. Sorry for his fidgeting. Fernando, the listeners again, like, follow, subscribe, follow us on Patreon. And thank you so much for being here again.
No problem. I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Bye.